Alright, as we enter the second turn of Conquistador, I just wanted to point one thing out. Diaz was the leader who died. Well, one, Columbus was the other. So he would have gone away at the end of turn one anyway, so it's not a big deal to lose him. It is a big deal to lose Columbus, though, because he lasted another turn. But the Spaniards have Pinzon, whom they can use. One thing to sometimes consider is either sending 2 explorers with 1 ship, in case one dies, or sending, keeping one back, like a Pinzon if you have Columbus and then you only have the money or effort to make 1 expedition. Alright, running through the events, and this could seriously affect who has the initiative, by the way, the amount of money that was saved. So the French have a lot of money here. Unfortunately, they only have a sea monarch, so their money's doubled, whereas Spain and Portugal's is quadrupled. Portugal got an affluent middle class, which gave them an additional 20 bucks. They also got the big 45 bucks off the track. So a lot of money there. Where on Spain, though, they just got an 11, which is an oppressive colonial policy. What that means is there's an immediate native uprising in every space where there's... in every area where the native level is high, where it exists. This is, an additional crap. We're getting wiped out already. So here in the Caribbean, we just make a roll on it. And currently there are no soldiers there. So we're going to lose that. 3. We lose our colonists and we lose our gold as well. So we just got wiped out there. And then here, we have a bonus for us. We get a bunch of soldiers here. That helps. 2, 4, 5. And we have the bonus of the Conquistador, which I believe affects things. Maybe not. No, I don't think so. A 6 on the 5. That means I'm going to be losing 2 colonists, and I got an asterisk, which means my missionary's eaten, and he goes in to the random cup there. That means I have to, since I have colonists there, I have to send a missionary there. I could send this guy. He's better at wiping things out, so he's kind of a bonus, but I'd have to pick him up and bring him there with a boat. That would be difficult. I'd have to actually explore to find him. Okay, and I gotta lose 2 things. Well, I don't want to lose both my colonists, so I'll take a colonist and a soldier out of line, because I want to keep a port there, I guess. I'm noticing this -1 here for the Portuguese for last turn, and I think I cheated by forgetting about that. The Spanish would have gone before the Portuguese had I taken that into account. That's fine. I'm going to make mistakes all over the place. I always do. The English got a new monarch, though. They got an A-rated monarch, so with their money, they're going to be ahead of the other big A's. So they're probably going to be going early this turn. And the French wound things up by getting a plague in the colonies down here. That doesn't affect them too much because they only have 1 colonial space. They lost either a soldier or a colonist. They took a colonist as a loss. They've got a whole bunch of new colonists they can ship in. Of course, ones that are already in the New World are of more value, but at this point in the game, soldiers are real important. There's no question about that. In terms of order, the English are going to be going first. Looks like the Portuguese beat the Spaniards out again. And the French, at only a ×2 multiplier, will be at 260. That's 520. Ooh, I'm not sure. We got things to worry about here, don't we? I think the French have pushed ahead of the Spanish and the Portuguese as well. Portugal's going to be at 440, so yeah, the French will be going second this turn. Alright, hemispheric movement's been completed. Portuguese landed down in Rio del Plata. Their plan, they've got the points, is to try to go around the Cape. That's worth 150 victory points. That's a huge jump there. The plot is worth 15. If they make it through the Pacific Ocean through the Cape, that's 150 points. That's a nice possibility. Of course, they've got 2 explorers together, one who's dying, Corte Real, and another earlier one. They kept one in reserve just so that they don't lose everyone this turn, so they have someone next turn. They get few enough. The English and French both landed up here for the St. Lawrence. Now, the English went first. They're going to get the points for it. They also have the points to go up and explore the Hudson Bay, I think, which is going to jump them ahead of the French. They've got to worry, though, because the French are here with a lot of colonists and some troops. I just have a couple colonists. The French could probably wipe out pretty easily. The danger? Well, I think I counted my points so that I can only make it to the Hudson Bay, and that's kind of out here in the middle of the water. I don't think I've got enough points to do another landing, so I think I've got to land here in the St. Lawrence Seaway and just hope the French leave me alone. They may not. The French kind of have a desire to claim this whole area. That's, you know, that's where they're going to get their value, is by taking over the east coast of North America. And that is a rich possibility because it produces good money, so settling yourself there and entrenching yourself is, you know, maybe more valuable than grabbing gold. So we'll see how that works out. The Spaniards lent a large expedition down into Cuba, planning on repopulating Cuba, and then I had to put this abandoned marker, and then sailing over here with some of the troops in order to, well, mainly they have to get the missionary there. That's the big problem. But they also want to get more troops there, take out the Aztecs, and be able to maybe discover this this space, see if there's anything there worth having. Otherwise, it's beginning to look like they need to keep pushing further inward if they want to get gold. And some of that stuff's going to be tough to get. For example, this, they got to haul it out through the Pacific, and that's hard to do. One thing I wasn't thinking about, if I spend 3 movement points there, the French can intercept me by the way I'm playing the rules. So the English slid up, discovered Hudson Bay, and slid back. They would have been wiped out by that French fleet. The English chose to go with more ships so that they were less likely to suffer attrition, and 3 little carracks instead of caravels, or whichever way it is. Caravels instead of carracks. I can't remember which one's bigger than which. Caravels are the little ones. So they got 3 caravels. They do have to make a roll, though. They spent a lot of bounds. I don't know how many. I got to count it up. They spent 5 bounds. 2 to get into Norumbega, and then the other 3 to sail back, and now they're in a position to sail back from Maritime, which is only 2 away, which is cool. But they do have the attrition roll. I don't remember what number I added up there. Sounds like 5 to me. 1. Okay, they lost one of their 2 colonists en route. And they also got a star, and I don't know what that star is going to do. Any one Conquistador explorer eliminated. I don't know if that's random. I have to check. You know, it doesn't really specify. I'm going to let JCAT, well, I'm going to let AAS, that's really just a syndicate anyway, go away. It didn't matter. They're both dying this turn, but what it might matter for is if you had people who aren't both dying this turn. But my feeling here is he let the player choose. You know, he's got an older, more experienced guy who you can kill off and keep the younger one alive, who's more useful later on. It's one of the advantages of sending multiple ones. At least that's how I'm kind of looking at it. But we have a little tiny colony set up here on the Hudson Bay. We'll see how that works out. That doesn't look very healthy. Onward with the rest of the powers. French end up successfully discovering the St. Lawrence, sailing down and gathering their forces here. Spaniards drop off in Cuba and sail over to the Aztecs. Down here, well, Real's dead. Da Gama's still alive. They did not make it through, so no big bonus points there. Some extra bounds, some extra attrition. They lost a colonist that way too. Oh well. Land phase shows just how harsh this game can be. Had a little bit of repositioning. So, for example, the French spread out into 2 ports. The Spaniards marched over and discovered, hey, this thing will produce 75 points per turn once we get, you know, the natives wiped out. Okay, great. Went for the natives, got rid of the Caribbean, got rid of the Aztecs. Down here, no successes. I don't know if I rolled everywhere. I may have made choices, for example, here in Panama, where it's not worth rolling because the native level is so low and the number of troops, people that I have versus troops is balanced, so there was no chance of a revolt. Revolts did happen, though. They wiped out the English. They did damage to the French. And I think they did some damage, maybe not, to some of the Portuguese. I don't know. But then attrition happened, and this is what's horrible about these. This is rough terrain, so it's +2 on the attrition level. That's already a 3 attrition. We're working over here on the 5 table for land attrition. 2 soldiers died. Harsh. It didn't kill the Conquistador, though. I don't think he's wiped out with it. He was alone with them, which would be bad if he was. But, you know, it's going to mean the Spaniards have to just keep funneling stuff in to get that. Now, they've got kind of a problem, which is, well, first of all, they actually lost due to attrition their 1 colonist they had down here, so they no longer have a port. So they're going to have to send another explorer down there. But kind of the problem is, they don't have all that much force here. They've invested a lot, but they don't have all that much force to hold it. They're down to, what, two military units, 2 army. Of course, it would take a heavy investment by someone else to attack it. But it is a known valuable commodity at this point. It's a 75. That's going to produce a lot of money over a short period of time. So there's a possibility somebody may go try to poach that. We'll see. Alright, I haven't collected the resources yet. That's not going to be a big bonus. And then we'll go to finishing up the naval movement. As we move into turn 3, took care of the returns, the maintenance costs, and also, of course, whatever little money that people get from their colonists. But that's really just, can you break even there? These big navies, they're causing real problems, especially Portugal's huge navy. They're down to 50 ducats. They went big, gambled, they didn't get anything really worthwhile for it. They got some victory points for the discoveries, the 70 victory points they got for discoveries. But what they have established, they're having trouble holding, and it's spread out too much. It's usually a bad move. Early discovery points probably aren't worth positioning yourself poorly. Now all they have left, they're kind of poised for, is to take Cusco. They have these gold mines here, and the Brazilian gold mines, and they're mainly, you know, in a position where they might be able to take control of South America, but they've kind of overreached. Spain may also. They're in the 80s. They found something really valuable. Now, can somebody sitting on a couple $100 launch an expedition to destroy what they got? I don't know. But that's one of the risks of finding cool stuff, and they're a little spread out. The French aren't doing too well either, though. They've already blown 80 of their $300 that they start the game with. Now, they've got a nice position here. The English, on the other hand, walked away with nothing in their little sail, but they haven't spent much money yet. The real danger, though, is when you've got these big fleets, France, Portugal, Spain, that you've invested in, you're paying a few bucks a turn. It does not seem at all possible to say, yeah, I'm going to cut my losses now. Just like it doesn't seem that way with the troops, with whatever, because you spent more on them than you're going to be spending, you know, each given turn. But at some point or another, Portugal, for example, may well say, hey, 6 of those ships is too much. I needed that when I was hitting 2 areas. I can't afford to spend 12 bucks a turn on that. On the other hand, it's a powerful, you know, deterrent to have a navy that's bigger than anyone else's, and it isn't that expensive. 2 leaders went into the death bin this turn, And we're going to get some new ones showing up here, just Spanish and Portuguese, which means the French and English will not be doing any exploring next turn. Alright, let's load this one up.